Hello, I'm Kaiser and welcome to Moose Reads. Before I get started, I want to say that the opinions that I give here are my own opinions. They are extremely subjective. If I dislike a book, it is not a reflection on the author, and it is not a reflection on people who do like it. Different people have different tastes, and that's okay. Today, I will be reviewing Never a Duke by Grace Burrows. This is the 7th and final book in the Rogues to Riches series. It is a Regency romance. The description says, Ned Wentworth will be forever grateful to the family that plucked him from the streets and gave him a home, even though polite society still whispers years later about his questionable past. Precisely because of Ned's connections in low places, Lady Rosalind Kinwood approaches him to help her find a lady's maid who has disappeared. Rosalind is too opinionated and too intelligent, and has frequently suffered judgment at the hands of polite society. Despite her family's disdain for Ned, Rosalind finds he listens to her and respects her. Then, too, his kisses are exquisite. As the investigation of the missing maids becomes more dangerous, both Ned and Rosalind will have to risk everything, including their hearts, if they are to share the happily ever after that Mayfair's matchmakers have begrudged them both. 4 stars, I think. Content warnings for this book are implied rape. My feelings on this one are a bit complicated. I like Ned, I like Rosalind, they're fine together. I enjoyed the missing maid plot more than the romance plot, though. There were 2 major problems I had with this book, which is why I'm a little uncertain about my rating. First, there's a pseudo-plot happening in the background about Ned's past. In the first book, he's plucked out of prison by Quinn and sort of adopted in that Quinn gives him his family name. But this book delves into who Ned was before that and how he ended up in prison in the first place. And this plot really could have had an entire book, so barely puttering around in the periphery of this book made it feel rushed and insubstantial. Second, the way they resolved the missing maids plot really pissed me off. Honestly, it's kind of a shame that this series is bookended by disappointing endings. I can't entirely recommend this book in its own right, though I imagine if you're reading through the series, you'll probably want to go through it anyway. There's really not much else to say without major spoilers, so if you don't like spoilers, now is the time to pause or close the video. For everyone else, let's talk details. So, once upon a time, Ned had a lovely family. His father was a tailor with his own shop, he had a nice mother and an older brother. But one day his father was abducted by a press gang and forced into the Navy, and he never came back. With their sole source of income gone, the family struggled and his mother eventually died. He and his brother became thieves, but because he screwed up one time, his brother got caught and was hanged. But then, at a crucial moment, his brother turns up. While waiting to be hanged, he made a deal with a prisoner who was sick and dying anyway. The man was due to be transported, and he'd prefer to die and be buried in his own country, while the brother would prefer to live. They look enough alike, and apparently the prison system barely gives a crap anyway, so they switch places and the brother goes to Australia. I think the brother's name is Robert, by the way, but he comes in at the last minute and I put this review off long enough that I can't remember for sure. I do know there were 2 Roberts in this series, however, and I'm pretty sure that's where the second one came in. While in Australia, the brother just happened to run across their father, so he's alive too. There's a bit of lip service at the end about them planning to move back to London so they can be near Ned again. All of this happens probably in the last 10% of the book. It's too much, too fast, and it ended up feeling cheap. Incidentally, the switching places trick that the brother used is also, more or less, what's happening with the missing maids. Someone is kidnapping them and swapping these healthy young ladies out for old and sick prisoners being transported. The penal colony in Australia is severely lacking in women, so there's profit in delivering some. From the way it's described, this is basically sexual slavery, which is extremely disturbing. Certainly, you'd hope the culprits would be severely punished. Wherein we reach my bigger problem with the book. Rosalind's family is to blame, which becomes increasingly apparent as the book progresses. I thought it would come down on her eldest brother, but as far as I can tell, he was not involved with the plot at all. Instead, her father orchestrated the plan, and her second brother carried it out. When they discover this, the Wentworth men decide to hold only the brother, George, accountable. In what is almost perfect justice, he gets sentenced to transportation, so he more or less gets to live the life he consigned the women to. You know, without the implied rape. On the other hand, they let the father off the hook. They don't want to ruin Rosalind and her eldest brother's prospects, so they just let him quietly fall into obscurity as his financial situation declines. I felt thoroughly disgusted that they weighed the harm he did to those women against his children's social standing and somehow found the latter the more important issue. Also, it's made clear that while Rosalind only became aware of this plot with the latest batch, there was at least one group of women that were successfully kidnapped and sent away, and no one ever says anything about them. So I guess they just have to endure the horror of their circumstances. It was a terrible conclusion, and I didn't like it. That's all I have to say about Never a Duke. If you like this video, I hope you'll watch more in the future. Thanks for watching this one. Bye!